Doug Griffith, the president of the Houston Police Officers Union. I'm Celeste Díaz Schurman.
And I'm guest host Foti Kallergis. We'll also learn about Project Metis, a groundbreaking initiative led by the Center for Houston's Future to position the Houston-Galveston region as the global leader in brain health.
Plus, Monty Python Spamalot is in town. We'll talk to actors Major Attaway and Chris Collins-Pisano, who are playing King Arthur and Sir Lancelot in the Tony Award-winning musical comedy.
And as always, we want to hear from you. Give us a call or text us at 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org.
All this and more here on Hello Houston right after the news from NPR and News 88.7.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, by Metro, and by gifts from listeners like you.
Live from NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. President Trump is announcing a 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. On his Truth Social platform today, Trump says the truce formally begins 5 p.m. Eastern. He adds he is inviting the leaders of Israel and Lebanon to the White House. Their ambassadors recently held talks in Washington, D.C. this week for the first time in decades. Separately, Pakistan says it continues to work toward a second round of peace talks between the United States and Iran. Betsy Joels reports Pakistan's army chief has visited Iran.
Army Chief Asim Munir has taken a central role in this process, and his visit to Iran is expected to help smooth out sticking points, including those related to Iran's nuclear program. Vice President J.D. Vance said before he left the first round of talks in Islamabad last weekend that limiting this program is a key priority for the U.S. The White House has expressed optimism since then about the prospects of a deal, and Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Islamabad would very likely be the venue for a second round of talks. For NPR News, I'm Betsy Joels in Islamabad.
As a result of a blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, the head of the International Energy Agency says Europe has, quote, maybe 6 weeks or so of jet fuel left before it runs out. Here's NPR's Eleanor Beardsley.
In an interview with the Associated Press, the executive director of the IEA, Fatih Birol, painted a sobering picture of the global repercussions of what he called, quote, the largest energy crisis we have ever faced. Birol said the longer the conflict continues and the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, the worse it will be for economic growth and inflation around the world. Birol said gasoline prices will continue to climb, as will the price of electricity. He said no country is immune. The Trump administration is anxious to end the war and is pressuring its Israeli ally to conclude a ceasefire in Lebanon, where Israeli forces are fighting to rout Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah. Eleanor Beardsley, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
Pope Leo XIV is strongly condemning war and prayers for it.
Jesus told us, "Blessed are the peacemakers, but woe to those who manipulate religion in the very name of God for their own military, economic, or political gain, dragging that which is sacred into darkness and filth."
Pope Leo in Cameroon today, the latest stop in his tour through Africa. As the first American selected to lead the Roman Catholic Church, Pope Leo has taken a public stand against the U.S. war with Iran and, as a result, has drawn the ire of President Donald Trump. U.S. stocks trading higher this hour, with the Dow now up more than 100 points. From Washington, this is NPR News.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Jack Williams. There's an update today in 2 Texas killing field cases in Galveston County from decades ago. News 88.7's Juliana Washburn was outside a home in Bay Cliff that was searched today for evidence in those cases.
The Galveston County Criminal District Attorney announced this morning that 2 search warrants were served at the home of James Elmore. 61-year-old Elmore from Bay Cliff is facing charges of manslaughter and tampering with evidence in 2 of the Texas killing fields cases from the mid-'80s. The indictments are part of a renewed effort examining the murders of about 30 women.
News 88.7 Galveston Bureau reporter Juliana Washburn. Governor Greg Abbott has threatened to revoke more than $110 million in public safety grants to Houston unless the city repeals a limit on the police department's involvement in immigration enforcement. Mayor John Whitmire says the city council should reverse the measure. News 88.7's Dominic Anthony Walsh reports.
After 50 years in the state legislature, Whitmire has emphasized his relationships with power brokers in Austin.
This episode will test John Whitmire as the Abbott Whisperer.
Brandon Boddinghouse is a political science professor with the University of Houston.
If it's the case that that is not handled well and that he's not the best fit in this, then it mute some of that argument that he made.
7 city council members have not publicly staked out a position. At a special meeting tomorrow, Whitmire needs only 3 of them to reverse the ordinance. I'm Dominic Anthony Walsh, News 88.7.
A temporary restraining order blocking the Texas rules banning the sale of smokable hemp products is due to expire Friday, April 24th. A court will hear arguments next Thursday on whether to issue a longer-term injunction. The hearing will involve testimony on what constitutes legal hemp versus what is illegal cannabis. In sports, the Astros have won 7 in a row at home now, beating the Colorado Rockies last night at Daikin Park 3-1. Mostly sunny today, the high around 86 or so. Partly cloudy tonight, the low down to 71. Then tomorrow you can expect partly sunny skies with a high of around 85. Partly cloudy 78 right now. I'm Jack Williams, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from the University of Maryland Libraries, committed to reimagining learning, advancing the public good, and empowering research that creates a better future for everyone. More at lib.umd.edu. This is NPR.
Live from Houston Public Media and News 88.7, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now your hosts for Hello Houston, Ernie Manous and Celeste Díaz Schurman.
Good morning, Houston. Thanks for joining us today on Hello Houston. Whether you're tuning in to 88.7 or you are joining us on YouTube, thank you for choosing us to be your trusted source of news. And Ernie is out today, but I have a very familiar face sitting right next to me. Foti, welcome.
Hi, Celeste. Thank you. You know, last week I filled in for you.
Yes.
The intro said Celeste, and I said, well, I'm not as pretty as Celeste, and I don't have as much hair as Celeste. So today what I'm going to say is I have less hair than Ernie, and I'm not as handsome as Ernie. How about that?
Flattery will get you everywhere, Foti, between Ernie and I. Yes,
Thank you.
You'll do just fine. But,
Thank you.
Foti, for some of our friends who might not know you worked for ABC 13 for quite a while.
I did. I was a news journalist for ABC 13 for 5 years. I've been in TV journalism for about 15 years, back when there was no iPhone and, I'm not that old, Celeste. I'm not that old, but, technology has progressed. So TV journalism I'm a news junkie ever since I was in middle school, hosting the morning announcements and catching the bug there, and then through college. Born and raised in Houston.
I found that so interesting because a lot of times I feel like we have journalists that, especially in television broadcasting, that come through Houston and they're not from Houston. So where did you go to school?
So I went to school in A-Leaf. I don't know if you all know A-Leaf. Yeah. Shout out to the Leaf. It is a fantastic school district, and it was really a great place to really kind of get your feet wet and really understand what Houston is all about. It is a multicultural district, one of the most economically disadvantaged school districts in the Houston area, all walks of life. And I think it gave me such a brilliant perspective of what the world is actually like. So that's the beauty about Houston.
Well, it's wonderful to have you back on air today with me, Foti. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we do have a lot to get to on today's program. Coming up on Hello Houston, we're going to learn about Project Metis. And this is a groundbreaking initiative led by the Center for Houston's Future. And they're really working to position the Houston and Galveston region as the global leader in brain health, which, that's going to be fascinating to talk about, brain health.
We all have one.
Exactly.
So it's important.
Some of us use it more than others.
Well, yeah, it's a whole nother topic.
But that is a whole other topic. One thing that we also want to mention is right now we are reminding you that Houston Public Public Media is committed to our community. And if you are feeling that this station is your own, because it is, we are Houston Public Media, we are asking that you will go to 888-909-0887 or houstonpublicmedia.org/donate and make a donation of any amount. It all goes to a wonderful cause, which is keeping independent, trusted news coming to you about your community, what's happening right in your backyard.
And so important, Celeste, because this is the first year that you may not have that federal funding. And so people's donations is even more important this year than ever before.
Yeah, and I think that there was a lot of questions around, what is going to happen. And here we are again, a year, we're looking at what has happened. And, at the same time, we're not going anywhere. But we can't stay without the help of our listeners and viewers and people who tune in and rely on this station every single day. But there's a lot happening. And later on today, also, I think we're going to be talking with Harris County Commissioner, Doug Griffith, who's the president of the Houston Police Officer Union. We're waiting for him to join us in just a few minutes.
Awesome. And he's been at the center of this city ordinance that's been so controversial and has had ramifications for the city of Houston. And he's really been at the center of it, him and his police officers, and has been such a outspoken person and shared his thoughts the last time that I hosted here with you all, shared his thoughts and made some, pretty interesting revelations, which I hope he'll also talk to us about today as well. And a lot going on tomorrow with this issue.
Right. And, I think it's so interesting, right? Because we're calling it controversial, but I actually am curious how controversial is it really? I think that our council members, from what I understand, yesterday we spoke with council member Abby Kamen, and she was pretty straightforward in that they really tried to make sure that there were no possible constitutional loopholes that the state could come at them about. Not surprised that Governor Abbott is, Harris County and the city of Houston is on Governor Abbott's radar. No surprise there. I think where the blind side aspect of this comes into for council members is that he threatened to pull the funding. But that's not necessarily what you all heard from Doug last time that y'all spoke to him. Yeah, and I mean,
the ramifications of this, I think everyone wants to know. What exactly does it mean whenever the governor freezes $110 million of your public safety money? What does it mean to the everyday person? The folks in their homes today, in their vehicles today, going to their jobs, at their jobs today, when they go home, when they're in public, what exactly does it mean for their daily lives when we talk about $110 million in funding that is frozen? That's supposed to help us with public safety? Well, we're about to find out, because joining us now to discuss is Doug Griffith, the president of the Houston Police Officers Union. Doug, thanks for joining us today on Hello Houston.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And if you would like to join the conversation, you can call 713-440-8870.
Yeah, Doug, thank you for joining us again, because you were here last time. It seems like you're following me. Every single time I'm on Hello Houston, you're on the show as well. But you're on the show for a very important reason. You were on the show last time and you called this. You said that funding was going to be pulled from the city of Houston, and now we see $110 million in public safety funding from the state is now frozen by the governor. As Celeste said, Councilwoman Kamen was on yesterday, and she said that the council expected that the governor wouldn't be happy about this ordinance, but they didn't really expect that the governor would freeze the funding to Houston. What is your response to that?
Well, they should have known this from the beginning. One, we warned them, but number two, the grants that we fill out, and there's a lot of paperwork that goes into a grant. And there are certain stipulations in those grants that you have to comply with. Mm-hmm. And that's for any grant, be it state or federal. And one of the things in this particular grant funding situation is that we would comply with, all federal and local laws. And so doing this, the city signed off on that, right? Mm-hmm. So we're rocking along. This funding is for a myriad of things. We have, like for HPD, we have what we call a STEP program, which is for DWIs. The state of Texas gives us money to help with our overtime for that. Our truck enforcement units, because we're dealing with people transit across the state, we get funding for that. There's a lot of little things. The fire department receives funding. The city of Houston receives it for different things: water, sewer, infrastructure, roads. There's a lot of things that go into this that play into it, and it's a very serious situation. We're already in a $170 million deficit. You start taking this money away, we still got to pay for this. The big one is obviously the FIFA coming up, and that's $67 million, I believe. That's going to pay for a lot of security, and it's going to be a grave concern for us coming up.
Doug, as you mentioned, FIFA, which is just right around the corner, do you think right now was the right time to move this ordinance forward?
No, I just don't think they thought about it. Salinas, and again, this is what kills me. We've got so many issues in the city that we need to be dealing with, and yet this is what they're concerned about. I mean, we've got, again, heavy trash not being picked up on time. We've got extremely high water bills. We've got a deficit. We've got homeless problems downtown. We've got the mentally ill issues. I could go on for days on things that we should be arguing about at city council. But yet we're worried about the 74 traffic stops last year that we ended up turning someone over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Well, Doug, from what I understand yesterday when we spoke with Abby Kamen about this, we also spoke with Houston Public Media reporter Dominic Anthony Walsh. One of the reasons council members and made this a specific ordinance, immigration ordinance, a priority was because they say that Houston, from some investigative reporting, seemed to be HPD coordinating with ICE, seemed to have an uptick in that it was potentially unlawful what HPD was doing working with ICE.
Which is completely insane. They keep yelling about the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment states that we cannot unreasonably hold somebody. We are not. If they're showing a warrant, a detainer, then that by law is a reason to hold them, is what you would call reasonable suspicion. So therefore we have control of that, right? If we have them in our custody and they want them, we have to turn them over. This is not like it's hey, I just don't feel like doing that today. If that was the case, then we have to treat every warrant the same. We would have to call Fort Bend County and go, hey, I'm sorry, guys, we're not going to take your suspect for you. Fourth Amendment right issues. It's insane the way they look at this. Understand, they're attorneys, but they have never studied criminal law. I'm not exactly sure where they're coming up with this. They hear a good talking point and they run with it. For us, it's not about, for them, it's about politics. It's let's fight the bad orange guy or whatever their motivation is for this, but it's to get their face in the national news. We don't care about that. Law enforcement just wants to do their job. If I have somebody with an outstanding warrant, I'm going to take them in. Now, like I spoke at City Council the other day, they don't understand. We don't know what these warrants are for. They keep saying it's a detainer from ICE to deport them. Right. It's claiming that it is nothing more than a civil warrant. That may be correct, but why did they get the civil warrant? Is it because they're a criminal and they violated our laws and they're continuing to violate our laws? Or is it that they missed a court appointment? I mean, we just don't know that, and we can't take that. I don't want to see more citizens of Houston victims to somebody that doesn't need to be here.
And if you're just joining us right now on Hello Houston, we have Doug Griffith, the president of the Houston Police Officers Union, on the line with us. And we want to hear your comments on this. You can join in the conversation by calling us or texting us at 713-440-8870. Doug, I have a question for you because because when you first joined us, you talked about what this funding is going to go to. And I think the folks in the city of Houston want to know exactly what impacts this is going to have on their daily lives. You said that this funding is to go towards the DWI initiatives and overtime for officers, truck enforcement, the fire department's getting a cut, the city of Houston is getting funding for water, sewer, infrastructure maintenance. When you talk about this money, are we starting to see the effects of us not having this money in the city of Houston, meaning DWI overtime? Are there fewer officers that are going to be out on the streets now because there's not that overtime? Talk to us about the actual effects right now.
Yes, sir. Any funding that's coming from a state grant which includes some of the federal funds because they filter them through the state. All those overtime programs have ceased currently. There are still overtime out there. There's overtime things going on, but it is strictly for court and for special things that the city already budgeted within the overtime budget. They're not the grant-funded items.
Doug, do you believe we're seeing law enforcement policy being driven more by politics right now than public safety?
Well, that's my problem with this entire thing. They never contacted the police department and said, hey, how will this affect law enforcement? They just decided that they're going to arbitrarily decide what the police department should do, what our policies are. And that is wrong. You have a chief. You hired him. You have a command staff. They're all appointed. So you control the general orders of our department through our chief and the mayor. But they chose to go outside of that and just arbitrarily decide, oh, this is going to be your new policy. Well, I'm sorry, none of them have ever been in law enforcement. They don't understand it, and they're just going to arbitrarily run out there and tell us how we should be doing our business. I have a real issue with that.
We are speaking with the president of Houston Police Officers Union, Doug Griffith. We have a call on the line, Hugh from Montrose. Hugh, welcome to Hello Houston. What is your comment or question for Doug?
I'm just checking that I'm on air. Is this me?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Apologize, I turned off my radio. Hey, I'm originally from El Paso, born and raised, and this is my question for the union policemen. I think the whole point is what you're missing is that if you do the warrants and if you indiscriminately detain people, you're going to prevent our immigrant community from trusting the police. And I think you're just not. Frankly, I hope you're not just blatantly ignoring that. And I listened to my comment off the air. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugh. Doug, what is your response to people who are saying that this is affecting the trust between Houston police officers and vulnerable communities?
I'm just going to have to disagree with that. People call us on a daily basis of all races, ethnicities, from all countries. We have the most diverse city probably in the nation, and we have the most diverse police department in the nation. Calls have not decreased because of this. Again, we're talking about 2 million contacts with citizens last year, from calls to traffic stops. We only had 74 incidents. So it's very rare we deal with this anyway. So I don't believe that we're actually causing harm. I personally get on Univision, Telemundo, all these outlets and speak about this on a regular basis because we don't want anyone to fear us. That's not what we're here for. The only time this is going to be an issue is if we have someone that has a detainer. There's only so many people in the city with these detainers. Nobody's complaining about Harris County, who has sent over 900, I believe, to ICE facilities.
Doug Griffith is the president of the Houston Police Officers Union. Doug, thank you for joining us today on Hello Houston.
Thanks, Doug.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me anytime. Have a blessing.
And coming up, we're going to learn about Project Metis. It's a groundbreaking initiative expected to put the Houston-Galveston region as the global leader in brain health. This is News 88.7. Stay with us. This campaign ends tomorrow, and it's one of the best chances we have to create a secure future for Houston public media. And we have a special reason to give right now. Right now, your donation is tripled. If you give $100, it becomes $300 for Houston public media. Imagine what that extra support can do for trusted, independent journalism that you're listening to right now. But this opportunity won't last. This is your chance to make 3 times the impact for the news and programs you count on. Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or pick up that phone, 888-909-0887. I'm Celeste Díaz Schurman, and Chloe is joining me now.
Hi, guys. Houston Public Media relies on listener support to deliver reliable news on the air and online. And today, when you give Trees for Houston, can plant trees in our community. Trees create cooler surroundings, mitigate runoff, and clean the air. This means your gift goes twice as far to support our community. And we have a triple going on this hour right now.
That's right.
So once you get these trees, it's going to be tripled. For example, if you do $10 monthly, it's going to be 4 trees times 3. So do the math, because I would like to not.
We work in a world of words. We're not going to do a ton of mathing here, but you get it. This is that moment. This is the moment that matters most in this spring fundraiser, and we're so close to the end. This on-air fundraiser is over tomorrow at 7 p.m. You can help make sure that this fundraiser is a success. It's up to you. Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
And thank you for your generosity if you've made your monthly donation. You're making life better in Texas by supporting reliable news, and you're doing it by supporting a local station. Local news is essential. We see and appreciate you. That's the whole point of Hello Houston. Thank you for giving monthly at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate, or you can call 888-909-0887.
At Houston Public Media, we are here to give you the information you need to make informed decisions about your life, your family, and your future, whether that is an immigration ordinance that's happening that we just talked about earlier with the Houston Police Union President, Doug, or if it's about something that's happening where there are 12 schools being shut down in your school district. You have that right to know this information, and we are here to make sure that you have it. So go, you can. And that's all thanks also to our partnership with Trees for Houston when you give today. So you can choose to have trees also planted in our community to create a healthier environment. So we ask, please donate at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887. And again, that number is 888-909-0887. And thanks. Woo.
Meet Tio Choco. We just took his keys for the day and gave him a Ride Metro fare card. This is his story. Visit ridemetro.org/Choco to find out where is Choco.
Metro Now. Tonight on Houston Public Media TV8, a night of mystery and intrigue with Father Brown at 7. Followed by the Sister Boniface Mysteries at 8 and Death in Paradise at 9. Tonight on Houston Public Media TV8.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from Texas Mutual Insurance Company, a workers' compensation provider committed to handling claims to help injured workers get back to work. More at texasmutual.com/mutual care.
You're listening to Hello Houston right now, the show that brings you honest conversations about housing, healthcare, education, and the real issues shaping life in our city.
That's right. Hello Houston brings voices to the mic that need to be heard, but it doesn't happen on its own.
No, this station is entirely community funded, and that means you make Hello Houston possible.
Support the conversations that move Greater Houston forward. Make your gift at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
Be impressed by the stylish palaces of Potsdam.
It's called Frederican Rococo.
Learn how Roman emperors controlled a vast realm.
The emperor can't be everywhere, but his statue can be everywhere. His image can be everywhere.
And relive a 1970s trip to Kathmandu.
You want to find yourself and the road less traveled?
On the next Travel with Rick Steves.
You can travel with Rick Steves Sunday morning at 6 on News 88.7.
Hi, I'm Barry Ward, Executive Director of Trees for Houston. It's Trees Day. When you give to Houston Public Media today, you can choose trees as your thank you gift and help plant trees in our community. Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now, Celeste Díaz Schurman and guest host Foti Kallergis.
From Space City to Brain City, a major initiative is bringing together leading medical institutions with a bold goal in mind. Make the Houston region a global leader in brain health initiative. The initiative is called Project Metis, named after the Greek goddess of wisdom. The effort focuses on advancing research and improving care that could lead to lifelong brain health. And joining us now to talk more about Project Metis is David Gow, the president and CEO of the Center for Houston's Future, and Dr. Jochen Reiser, president of the University of Texas Medical Branch and CEO of UTMB Health Systems. Welcome to Hello Houston.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
And if you would like to join the conversation, good morning. If you have a question, you can call 713-440-887.
And good morning to both of you. My first question is, help us understand what exactly you mean when you say brain health and why brain health?
Jochen, I'll let you answer that one.
Wonderful. So, good morning. It's great to be on the Houston show. So when we talk about brain health, we actually mean to keep our brains healthy, but we also mean mental health, and we need brain skills. What we understand with brain skills is to develop cognitive resilience and get us ready for the dawn of AI, get us ready in a world that is more commonly clouded with technology. So it's a more complete definition of the prior definition where brain health was truly focusing on a disease, for example, a stroke or Alzheimer's. So we want to do this much more completely.
And I love the way he said that because, of course, it all starts with brain health, but we need brain skills, particularly with the coming of AI, so that's brain capital. And as we think about where we've been, the medical community, I think historically, has focused a bit more on heart health and cancer care. Now is the time we believe the brain should come front and center.
And that's exactly what I was going to ask. You know, David, Houston is known as one of the largest medical complexes in the world. So what did you all see that was missing when we talk about brain health specifically?
Well, in my mind, there have been so many new neuroscience breakthroughs. There are new tools, new ability to measure the brain, to track. Well, look, we can track our brain health now the same way we track our physical well-being with Oura Rings and Fitbits. And just as we wake up every day and we think about how do we look, how do we feel physically, we think there's a real opportunity to track the brain, understand the brain, and think about brain wellness.
You know, you're using the word wellness, and Dr. Jochen, I think this question would probably best serve you. I would say a lot of times with social media and everything that we have, I hear a lot of people in general, and it used to be a lot of moms or young women that would say, I have brain fog. Talk to us a little bit about, is there any connection to just social media and the environments that we live in, the constant alerts, where there's any connection to moving kind of this initiative forward and connecting our environment that we live in today?
Absolutely. So think about it. Every day, we fill about 125 computers full of data at our health system alone. And that's just at UTMB. So when you look at the world, in about 2010, the brain capital of a population has begun to come down, which means in 2010, we are as humans not perfectly equipped anymore to handle all the information, call it brain fog, call it the input that we're having, and we're in constant overload. So Project Metis is trying and will, through an array of new movements and initiatives, reduce that type of brain fog by investing back into making us better from a brain cognitive performance perspective and also strengthening our mental health. And that is particularly relevant for a university. So this is how we at UTMB got very interested, because we want to invest in our students, our workforce. We want to raise the brain capital at UTMB and make our university stronger on a human performance, so we are ready and can better handle the technical advances that are coming our way.
Yeah, and I love that this is such a timely topic, especially in this AI revolution that we're all experiencing. You talked about brain fog. On the other side of it, AI has really kind of helped us replace, I would say, if we lean on it a little too much, replaced our ability to think, to produce certain conclusions, to critically think. It can potentially create anxiety when we have to think on our own and not rely on that AI. I just wish that this research, this initiative would have been here like a few years ago, but it's still very timely. What would you say is probably the top 3 things that folks are experiencing when it comes to their brain health in this moment that we are finding ourselves in right now?
Well, I think you raise a great point that it's not too early. I mean, we've got to move quickly here. And you can even go back to digital overload and the fact that there's so much intrusive elements online that have gotten into our brain. But the real risk over time, of course, with AI is that it would undermine our ability to do critical thinking. And when you think about what makes us human, it's largely our ability to do critical thinking, to have the faculties and the mental resources.
That's right.
This whole effort, I think, can at least come out with several good outcomes. One is everyone should be more mindful, more thoughtful, or the old axiom, think about your thoughts. Because actually, if you were to take an inventory of every thought that ran through your head during the course of a day.
No, please don't do that to me.
I think what we'd find is they're pretty heavy. We're filled with a lot of fears, concerns, worries, most of which are not actually taking place, but we've allowed ourselves to do that. We think we control our thoughts, but sometimes our thoughts are controlling us. And if in fact we're loaded up with heavy things and there's a weight to them, we ought to recognize that those thoughts, that inventory, they're heavier, they're not so positive, and they're actually darker than our real reality, our real lives. We have a better place to land. And so being thoughtful and mindful about what's taking place in our brains is a big part of the effort.
David, now looking at it from a logistics standpoint, we've seen cities like Boston and San Francisco really dominate the biotech industry. I'm curious from your perspective, what gives Houston a realistic edge when we are looking at technology and brain health?
We have a great foundation to lead this. We really do believe Houston can be a lighthouse for brain health across the globe, and it starts with our extraordinary medical institutions and the visionaries who run them. So Dr. Jochen Reiser was first in, our founding chair. He saw this opportunity and had the vision to think we can go forward, we can position our Houston-Galveston region as a leader. And so we have brought together UTMB, Rice University, Memorial Hermann, BP, MD Anderson, wonderful leading institutions, and that's just to name a handful of them. And we're all coming together, and it's through our collaboration that we think we can achieve more collectively than we ever would independently.
And, Dr. Jochen, I also think about how Houston, as I just heard David talk about, all of these different major powerhouses within different industries come together. As Houstonians, we're very lucky to live in this city because we have such diverse industry. So for the average Houstonian listening right now, how will this actually impact their daily life? They might be saying, well, that sounds very far away from me. But actually, it might not be. Explain to us how you will see is there going to be a diagnosis process? Is there going to be treatments? How can somebody, if they're interested in this, learn more about it?
Well, it's a great question. So first of all, I'm very optimistic for the Houston area because we have multiple initiatives that come together. One, you can see why it's so great to work together with David Gow and the Center for Houston's Future. At UTMB, we are Living the Brain Initiative. And then we have the statewide initiative of DPRIT funds, the Dementia Prevention Research Institute of Texas. We have a sprawling biotech platform. Now the question is, how does this all come together for the regular person that goes about his or her daily lives? And I think we will see, as a result of Project Metis and of initiatives at UTMB and other places, new clinics, for example, lifestyle clinics, where people really can go to an institution and say, okay, help me understand, where is my brain performance today? What can I do to live healthier, better, longer, so that my brain skills are being improved, my mental strength gets stronger? And with that, there's going to be more literacy also around AI. Because if you're more prepared to use your brain again and get mentally stronger, you also break down fear and barriers as it comes to using AI. David already mentioned that AI is great in technology and things we as humans don't want to do. But where we outperform AI, especially if we invest in our own brain and mental health, is the ethical component, the judgment, the experience, making the human component stronger. And I think if we, as leaders in the city, in the region, drive initiatives like that, people will gladly engage with us, and they will see and encounter many opportunities to intersect with us. Please write us. Please communicate to us. There will be health programs, educational programs. There will be a lot of ways to participate. There will be a better focus on healthier food, which is better brain fuel than just perhaps all the regular food that we typically consume. So people will notice a change throughout the Houston region, and we will be prepared as technology is continuing to flourish. Human capital through brain capital is continuing to flourish as well.
Dr. Jochen, you just said something that I found so powerful. And, you know, we're seeing the conversation around artificial intelligence, understanding mental health, but you said invest in our own brain. And I feel like we hear so much about companies and corporations investing in AI and the question about how that's going to impact us. And I feel in many ways, now this is kind of that other side to it, where now we need to also, as humans, be investing in our own brain. Sorry, I loved that. I just
Absolutely.
had to say
It
that.
is, and it's so important and timely. If you're just joining us, we have with us David Gow and also Dr. Jochen Reiser, and they're talking about Project Metis. It's an initiative that's focusing on advancing research and improving care that could lead to lifelong brain health. And Dr. Jochen, you really made a good point. We need our brains in order to create the prompts to make AI and whatever we're trying to do what we want it to do effectively, right? So it's really important for you to keep that at the forefront of your mind. Your research also talks about the full life cycle of the brain. And what comes to mind to me are those young kids right now, the ones that can pick up that iPad and could just, hold it to their face for hours and hours. Talk to us about the research that's going to go into the young brain.
So Project Metis is taking a lifelong perspective, and we have 3 working teams that are tackling each of the individual life stages. So there is a team on early brain development, one on workplace years, and then one on healthy aging. Perfect. And one of the amazing things on early development in that team that's already been very evident in our initial meetings there is how much of the brain develops just in those first 3 years. I've got grandkids. I've been talking to my children about their children, and I'm saying, look, these first 3 years are really, really vital in terms of brain development.
That's right.
And there are definitely things that parents can do to enhance brain health in their kids and set them on a really positive trajectory that extends throughout life.
That's right.
And Dr. Reiser, as you are continuing to work, what does success look like 10 years from now for this Project Metis?
That's a great question. I think we got to hold ourselves accountable. And what that means is we got to look at dementia incidence and prevalence. Those numbers we want to see come down over 5 years. We definitely want to work very hard with our initiatives to reduce the incidence and the prevalence of dementia. We also want to see more clinical trials coming our way into Houston. David already talked about the biotech sector. Many talk about Houston, Texas as the third coast after Silicon Valley on the west and Cambridge on the east. And I think through neuroscience and mental health sciences, Texas can truly become the third coast. And I think that's a wonderful opportunity. So we want to see trials come our way, for sure. We want to see the development of a brain health index that's more universally known and used so that we all know where are we standing today. Like if you ask me, am I at the best of my brain performance right now? I want to believe I am, but I don't know. And if I certainly want to know what I can do to maintain it or even grow it. So those are all great initiatives. We will have to see some changes in the food industry that it will have to come with it. More healthier food, less processed foods. And we're doing in Galveston a Blue Zone project. You might have heard about that, where we're trying to bring together healthy aging and healthy living also by the means of food is medicine. So I think what we are seeing is a more and a stronger combination of basic sciences like we know it, but also more wholesome sciences that really are focused to make our brain and mental health stronger with measurable parameters. So we can see what works and what won't work. And some things won't work and we have to redirect. We are ready for that. But many things will work. And as a result, we will be a healthier society altogether.
Dr. Reiser is the president of the University of Texas Medical Branch and CEO of the UTMB Health System. Dr. Reiser, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
And
what a delight.
David Gow is the president and CEO of the Center for Houston's Future. Thank you both again for being here today.
Thank you for your brains.
Yes, great to see you.
And coming up, get ready to laugh with the cast of Spamalot. Stay with us as Hello Houston continues. We're at a turning point in this fundraiser. We wrap up tomorrow, and that's it. Don't let this moment pass you by. You still have time right now to make a difference to the station that you rely on every single day. And if you needed another reason to give, your gift right now is being tripled. And it's super easy. You make your gift, it's automatically tripled. If you give $10, it becomes $30. Your $100 becomes $300. Every donation is tripled. If you've been waiting, now is the time. Do not wait. This on-air fundraiser is over tomorrow. So go to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887. I'm Celeste Díaz Schurman.
And I'm Chloe Barcelona. And when you support Houston Public Media today, you can have Trees for Houston plant trees in our community. This hour alone, we've had 17 trees donated.
Yay!
And I know it's very exciting. So let's keep it going, especially since it's tripled today. Maybe you can give $10 a month. That's 4 trees that will be planted. Build yourself a forest today. You'll provide cleaner air and stronger news coverage. Make your gift now and select trees at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
And thank you.
Support comes from Near North.
Meet Gamola, songwriter, world-class violinist, and award-winning multi-genre artist. We just took his keys for the day and gave him a Ride Metro fare card. Visit ridemetro.org/Gamola to learn more about his ride.
Media comes from listeners like you and from Live Nation, presenting David Byrne, Friday, April 24th at Smart Financial Center in Sugar Land. Tickets and more information available at livenation.com.
I'm Peter O'Dowd. Atmospheric scientist Perry Sampson thought he knew a lot about tornadoes. Then he ended up inside one.
I'm embarrassed by the whole story. Debris was flying so hard that I could not see the front of the car. It was scary as heck.
How he survived. To tell the tale next time on Here and Now.
Here and Now follows Hello Houston. It starts at 1 this afternoon on News 88.7.
Houston Matters highlights the people, places, issues, and ideas that define Greater Houston. And we do it live on the air weekday mornings at 9 on News 88.7. But we know you're not always available then to listen. So subscribe to our podcast wherever you get yours, or find each day's program to stream online at your leisure at houstonpublicmedia.org. And reach out with questions or comments anytime. Email us at talk@houstonmatters.org.
You're listening to Hello Houston, where the voices, issues, and ideas that shape our city come together. From immigration to education, from local elections to cultural conversations, this show dives deep.
And it only happens because listeners like you choose to give. Right now, during our fall campaign, we're asking for your support.
If this show matters to you, take the next step and make your gift at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now, Celeste Díaz Schurman and guest host Foti Kallergis.
Welcome back, everyone. Monty Python fans, brace yourselves. Spamalot has galloped its way into Houston for its national tour, where it's going to run at the Hobby Center through April 26th. Lovingly ripped off from the classic 1975 film Monty Python and the Holy Grail, this Tony Award-winning musical comedy recreates the film's iconic moments on stage, from the French taunters to the killer rabbit, which I want to hear more about. Here to tell us about the musical, join us in welcoming actors Major Attaway and Chris Collins-Pisano. They are here, and they're playing King Arthur and Lancelot at the national tour of Spamalot. Welcome, both of you. I feel like I needed to sing the intro.
I know, right?
I mean, a
Can we break out in song?
A fanfare would be nice. Yeah. There it is. Hello, Houston. How are you?
Spamalot, I'm going to quote Foti right now. Spamalot is famously, lovingly ripped off from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, yeah.
People love that movie.
Yes,
it
they
is just an absolute fan fave. How do you all get into now playing these roles that are so beloved?
Oh, man. I mean, it's nice to have such a great framework for the stuff that you're playing, because in some respects, it's like no one's ever going to do it better than the Monty Python guys. I mean, they came up with it. They wrote it. It's all their thing. So to kind of get to stand on their shoulders and put your own, have the permission to put your own spin on these classic characters is really, really fun.
Absolutely. And now that we have that framework, we get to play in that world.
Yeah.
So we get to push, the boundaries of our imagination under their guidance. And so it's a fun place to be.
And I have friends that saw it last night, and they said it was hilarious. The crowd was crying laughing.
We did have a really good crowd last night.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Well, for all of our listeners, if you're listening and you want to ask a question of these amazing thespians, we're opening up the phone for you, 713-440-8870. Ask your questions away. So what can folks expect from this show tonight?
They can expect an homage to the original material, and they can expect a balance between that and as many musical theater bits as we can cram into 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and just some good old-fashioned Broadway spectacle at the same time. It's kind of the perfect cross between sketch comedy and just big, splashy Broadway numbers. It's really got a little bit of something for everybody.
See, that's really fun. And so how do you play King Arthur? Is he a confident king, or is he someone barely holding it together?
Both of those things, actually. I would say it's a very good description. No, King Arthur is very serious.
Yeah.
He is the journey and the people around him happen to be silly and add silliness to the situation, but he is serious about every moment on this journey. And I think that's what makes the show make sense.
Right.
Because if not, we just have a lot of craziness going on. Yeah. But you have one person who's constantly there saying, why is there this craziness going on?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to us about just how you prepare for a show like this. You guys do so many shows. You are singing your hearts out. I mean, how do you prepare behind the scenes for a spectacular high energy show every single time? I'm just so fascinated by this because you hear the Broadway actors, they're doing like 3 to 4 shows a day.
Yeah.
You guys aren't necessarily doing 3 to 4 shows
Well, we
a
do.
day, are you?
We do have 2 show days.
Two shows.
We do 8 shows a week.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
And we do half of that in 2 days.
How do you prepare for that? I mean, vocally, mentally,
physically.
I mean, you got to. I mean, you have to take care of
ways.
yourself throughout the week on your off time, surely. But I mean, this is my first long-term tour, really. So this has been a very good educational experience for me to learn what it takes to deliver the performance I want to deliver every night, but know that I'm able to deliver this same performance throughout the entire week, including the afternoon shows. So it's been really cool, especially vocally, because I have I don't sing very much in the show at all. I just do a lot of like screaming, a lot of screaming in different voices. So it's been very exciting to learn like what a different kind of warm up that is, and just what it takes to kind of develop the stamina to give the performance you want to give every day.
Go ahead, warm up for us right here. Do the screaming. I'm joking.
I do just a lot of trills. I do like very soft warm ups. So that I know it's all there.
Did you scream a lot when you were a kid?
Yeah, no, I'm keeping it at like a 2 right now. Major can tell you how loud my voice is.
But Chris, speaking of delivering, Monty Python is a funny perform. I mean, it's a funny production. There's a lot of humor, and I'm curious how much of there is making sure that you deliver on punchlines and making where is there improvisation that comes in? How does that work? Because that is hard.
It is hard.
Yeah, there's a lot that the script does the work for us.
Yes.
And we need to just say it plain, and it's funny enough that even the percussion of the consonants in that sentence are written on purpose that way. So we just ride that.
Yeah.
But there are moments, and this is my favorite thing to talk about in the show. Our director, Josh Rhodes, he said you have moments where a door opens for you to be playful and be, add what we bring to the situation. And then those doors close clearly, and it's time to get back to the script.
Yeah.
But in those moments, we certainly, especially the two of us in particular, maximize the absurdity that we're allowed to add into the situation.
Yeah.
It's that helps us keep, it keeps the show lively and new every night for us and the audience, but also allows us to give them that anchor of the show, of the movie and things that is pristine in our minds.
Do y'all ever have to change the jokes from city to city depending upon the comedic tolerances of certain groups?
Oh, yeah, surely.
Yeah, definitely.
You do?
That's been one of the kind of like the most fun challenges and exciting things about getting to take this show on the road is having moments of improvisation or having the freedom and the permission to come up with your own jokes and put them in. It's very fun. Like I love, like when we do the Night of Knee thing every night, I try and change it up almost constantly. But the best is going to, I'm like always cruising billboards and commercials. I'm talking to my dresser at every theater to try and find things that are, that everybody will recognize, but things that people in Houston will really love. If there's that annoying lawyer jingle that you hear every day, and that can make its way into the show. I mean, I love that. That's what really, it makes me so
love
sad.
Love that.
Chris Collins-Pisano is playing Sir Lancelot, and Major Attaway is playing King Arthur in Monty Python's Spamalot. Chris and Major, thank you both for joining us today on Hello Houston. Monty Python Spamalot is currently running at the Hobby Center through April 26th. For more information, visit tuts.org. And coming up, we're going to continue discussing today's top headlines, and we're going to hear another episode of Techsperts. Stay with us for the second hour of Hello Houston. There are the most important moments. We are in the most important moments of this spring fundraiser because everything you've heard, the stories, the conversation, the fun facts about life here are resting on these final moments of this campaign. And if you need an immediate reason to give, your donations right now are being tripled. And again, right now, that's not forever. Be part of this moment and help us end this fundraiser successfully. Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887. I'm Celeste Díaz Schurman here with Chloe.
And I'm Chloe Barcelona. And you have, let's see how many minutes, 2 minutes, guys, to take advantage of this triple. And when you give monthly, you give yourself local news organization you can count on. That website is houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887. Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't...
Stay tuned. There's more Hello Houston on the way. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at houstonpublicmedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
Hi, I'm Barry Ward, Executive Director of Trees for Houston. It's Trees Day. When you give to Houston Public Media today, you can choose trees as your thank you gift and help plant trees in our community. Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org.
The Trump administration sends thousands more troops to the Middle East, hoping to pressure Iran into a deal. Will it work? On the next Friday News Roundup, Eric Swalwell resigns from Congress and drops from the California governor's race after allegations of sexual assault. Also, Americans are getting bigger tax refunds this year. How far will those dollars stretch in this economy? Next time on 1A.
You can hear 1A this afternoon at 2 on News 88.7. Mostly sunny skies today, high up around 86 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, down to 70. Right now, 78 at the University of Houston. This is your NPR station, KUHF Houston News 88.7, a service of the University of Houston. It's now 12 noon.
Just ahead on this hour of Hello Houston, a jury has found that Live Nation and its subsidiary Ticketmaster illegally operated as a monopoly and overcharged fans. We'll discuss this and more of the top headlines of the day. I'm Celeste Díaz Schurman.
And I'm guest host Foti Kallergis.
Plus, we'll also share a rundown of the things that are currently taking over all of our time as part of our regular Thursday feature, Current Obsessions. And we want to hear yours.
And that's right. Give us a call, text us, 713-440-8870, or email us at talk@hellohouston.org.
Hello Houston continues right after the news from NPR and News 88.7.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, by Metro, and by gifts from listeners like you.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Lakshmi Singh. President Trump has announced a 10-day ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel effective in 4 hours. NPR's Danielle Kurtzleben says the Republican leader is positioning himself as a peacemaker.
In a social media post, Trump said he recently spoke to Lebanese President Joseph Aoun and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and that both agreed to a ceasefire to begin at 5 p.m. Eastern. This week, diplomats from Israel and Lebanon met with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Washington. Israel has been occupying parts of southern Lebanon and bombing the Iran-backed group Hezbollah, which itself has continued to launch strikes into Israel. This fighting has complicated attempts at ending the war in Iran. It's not immediately clear how an agreement between the two countries might affect Hezbollah, which is not controlled by the Lebanese state. Trump also wrote that he will invite Aoun and Netanyahu to the White House for talks. Danielle Kurtzleben, NPR News.
Announcement of a truce comes just days after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited Israeli forces in southern Lebanon, where his government had widened its offensive aimed at eradicating the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran. Israeli media report Netanyahu has convened an urgent security cabinet call to discuss the ceasefire. Congressional Democrats in the U.S. are still pursuing a resolution to limit the president's war powers. Democratic Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia spoke with NPR's Morning Edition.
We're going to force a war powers vote every week until this war is over, and we're either going to end it or we're going to make sure everyone in America knows who was responsible for it. And the second option is that we're now writing the defense bill and dealing with appropriations, including an administration request to dramatically increase the defense budget for the Iran war. Those appropriations bills take 60 votes. And so we are not going to just write a blank check for another endless war.
Senator Kaine speaking with NPR. Investigators in Virginia say former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax fatally shot his wife and killed himself. They say it happened overnight. Megan Pauley of VPM News reports a Democrat was previously accused of sexual assault, which he denied.
Fairfax County, Virginia Police Chief Kevin Davis says the community is shocked by this high-profile murder-suicide that was apparently tied to an ongoing domestic dispute over a messy divorce. Davis said the couple's 2 teenage children were also in the home at the time of the shootings, and one was the 911 caller.
That's horrible news for the family, certainly a traumatic event for those
for those children to live through.
Davis said the department's Victim Services Division is working with the children. Multiple Virginia politicians expressed their heartbreak in statements. State House Speaker Don Scott called it an unspeakable tragedy. For NPR News, I'm Megan Polly in Richmond, Virginia.
From Washington, this is NPR News.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Tom Perumian. Governor Greg Abbott issued an ultimatum to Mayor John Whitmire this week: repeal an ordinance limiting the police department's involvement in immigration enforcement or lose $110 million in grants for public safety. The ordinance authors have called for the city to engage in a legal fight against Abbott's threat, but City Attorney Arturo Michel says it could be an uphill battle.
It's at the governor's discretion, so that is going to be difficult to have any court say the governor cannot exercise his discretion to either give the grant or not give the grant.
Whitmire called a special meeting for Friday morning to repeal the measure. The National Rifle Association's annual gathering is at the George R. Brown Convention Center, and they're getting out their word about the upcoming U.S. Senate election in Texas. NRA Public Affairs Director Justin Davis wasted no time going after Democratic candidate James Tallarico when speaking with Houston Matters this morning.
James Tallarico has attempted to put himself out there as a moderate, especially on guns, but the fact remains that he's Bloomberg-backed. He has stood in the way of constitutional carry here in Texas. So our members care deeply about that. A lot of these people are single-issue voters, so it's a great opportunity for us to connect with those voters.
More than 70,000 supporters of the Second Amendment and gun rights are in attendance. In sports, the Astros get another win, 3-1 over the Rockies last night. They go at it again at Daikin Park with Colorado at 7:10 p.m. Your check of weather: cloudy and windy with a high near 86 today. Tonight, partly cloudy and windy with a low around 70. Right now, partly cloudy, 78 degrees on the UH campus. Go to our webpage, houstonpublicmedia.org, for more news and information. I'm Tom Perumian, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Capital One, offering their dining and entertainment card, Savor. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Details at CapitalOne.com. And listeners like you who donate to this NPR station.
Live from Houston Public Media and News 88.7, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now your hosts for Hello Houston, Ernie Manous and Celeste Díaz Schurman.
Welcome back to the second hour of Hello Houston. As you might have heard, Ernie is out, but he will be back tomorrow. And filling in today is my new friend, Foti.
Hi there. Hi, Celeste. Appreciate it. I'm not Ernie. I don't have any hair, but I'm Greek, so I'm halfway there, yes. I guess, right?
I love me some Greek. Yes,
You can't get away from the Greek, Celeste.
I can't. Oh, and I love you both.
I'm just convinced, and I did get the memo today about wearing pink. Yes. Joking. She did not give me a memo, but we're just on that same brave wave, right?
We were talking about brain health.
About that. Yeah.
That was a fascinating conversation.
So cool. So cool. And I love the research you're doing. So timely and important to everyone because we all have a brain.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be part of my current obsessions, which is coming up. Today is Thursday, April 16th. And again, we want to thank you for joining us, whether you're tuning in at 88.7 or you are watching us on YouTube. You'd see us both donning our pink today. But, you know, we also have coming up this second hour of Hello Houston. We're going to hear a Texperts by Party Politics and UH professor talking all about Texas bluebonnets. And yes, I do believe he talks about if it is legal or not to pick a Texas bluebonnet.
You know, I've been told not to pick them, but I don't know if that's true now based on what you just said.
Yeah, well, you know, I've heard this episode and it's fantastic. So you're not going to want to miss it. That's coming up in a little bit. But there's a lot of questions around in Texas if it's illegal or not. And he talks about the history of it, and it's very cool.
Have you picked a bluebonnet? Will you say on air?
I have not. I've never actually picked a bluebonnet. But if you have kids and you go try to take those photos, I'm like, don't pick the Texas bluebonnets. It's illegal. So I don't know.
I won't say or not say that I have or haven't.
Okay. I'm going to go with you have, but okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, we have a lot to discuss. We want to thank you. You can always join us at 713-440-8870. And you can also send in your current obsessions starting now or all week at talk@houstonpublicmedia.org. But you know what? Let's get into the headlines.
And we want you to call in because this was a very, very interesting one that I'm sure everyone has something to say about. A stunning defeat for concert giant Live Nation and its Ticketmaster subsidiary. Yesterday, a jury found that Live Nation had a harmful monopoly over big concert venues, saying that it blocked ticket sales other than Ticketmaster from selling tickets to its concerts. Live Nation owns, operates, and controls booking for hundreds of concert venues and also has equity and interest in many of them. It uses Ticketmaster as its exclusive ticket seller for live events. Live Nation has insisted that it is not a monopoly and claimed that artists, sports teams, and venues get to decide their prices and ticketing practices. The judge in the case will next set an overall damages amount based on the jury's finding. We want to know what your thoughts are. Concert season is almost here for the summer, and I'm sure that you all have something to say about this based on this ruling. Did you ever feel that you were being overcharged for any ticket sales or ticket prices that you got? We want you to call in 713-440-8870. When was the last time you bought tickets and what was that experience like?
I cannot remember, but just when you said, have you ever felt like you were being overcharged for a concert? Immediately I wanted to say yes. And before we got into this segment, you and I were actually talking about the Taylor Swift concert.
That's right. And this is where kind of it all spearheaded, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Taylor Swift during the Eras Tour had announced this huge pre-sale promotion that was going on, and folks flooded the Ticketmaster website, and it caused site crashes. They ended up canceling public sales, and there was a widespread fan outrage because of the bots.
I remember we reported on it here at Houston Public Media, and we were in our newsroom discussing, is this news? And here we are, fast forward, and clearly it is. And I think that there's a lot of debate over essentially the power in live entertainment. We saw that, Live Nation, as you were saying, was just basically saying, we're not doing anything illegal. We're just very efficient and smart at how we do business.
So after the whole Taylor Swift thing, the federal government got involved and ended up filing a lawsuit against Ticketmaster. And then shortly after that, a number of states followed suit. The federal government ended up with settling its lawsuit with Ticketmaster, but those 30 or so states continued their lawsuit, which is what we saw play out just yesterday and conclude yesterday. According to some reports that I read, they're saying the claims are that Ticketmaster overcharged people about $1.72 or so per ticket. Which we were kind of discussing. If you've ever bought a ticket,
the sneaky little fees come in.
Your ticket price is like, and I'm just making this up, but it's just an example, $100, and then the fees are almost $100. So you're paying almost the price of an actual ticket for the fees.
Right. And I know, for example, this past summer, we saw major concert. We also had Taylor Swift again. Didn't she go on tour? Was she on tour this summer?
Yes.
Beyonce. And, I remember people on social media saying, okay, I paid $1,000 for this ticket, but then also I spent $500 on getting my outfit and the Uber, and they go out of town. It's a big money maker.
It is. And it's not just, I don't know if you've ever sold a ticket from Ticketmaster, but you buy a ticket, you can resell it on the resale market, and you're charged for that too.
Okay, so that's wild.
You're charged for every
Foti, what do you think? Do you feel like you've been overcharged for a ticket?
Absolutely. I will say that other countries around the world have really tackled this issue. I went in, was it 2024? 2023? Went to Paris. and just so happened to be in Paris at the same time that Madonna was having her concert.
Okay.
Right? Which never seen Madonna before.
Right.
By the way,
very iconic.
On another topic, she may be releasing an album on Friday tomorrow.
Oh my
gosh.
Okay.
That's a whole other topic.
We'll hold it for Current Obsessions.
However, ticket prices in other countries are significantly lower than they are in the U.S. A lot of folks are going to Mexico City to catch their favorite artists now because the ticket prices are regulated. They're a lot lower. I think I spent maybe like $300 or $400 for standing room front of the stage with Madonna.
Wow.
Could not get
unheard
that
of.
Could not
that would
get
be
that
unheard of here in the U.S. And we are getting quite a few comments. We did receive Chef Rob. Hey, Chef Rob. When the ticket prices went crazy, I stopped going to concerts and other venues. I'm kind of with you, Chef Rob. I feel like that's kind of my take on it. I just was like, you know what? This is absolutely astronomical. With that money you can go on a trip with some of this money. And we also have a call from James from Conroe. James, welcome to Hello Houston. What is your comment or question?
Well, yes. Okay. So I have just a few comments, but what I said initially is I have an acquaintance that wanted to see Taylor Swift, and it was cheaper for them to fly to Peru, have a vacation, see Taylor Swift, and come back, then to buy a couple of tickets here in the United States. That's how bad it is. And many people that I want to see, I can't see. Like I wanted to see Peter Gabriel. I can't see him because I'm going to buy 2 tickets and I'm priced out of the market. And finally that I'll say, baseball used to be family entertainment. They used to market it where you used to be able to bring the family and have a hot dog and a soft drink and watch the game and afford it. You can't do that anymore. And so I don't know if this will lower prices or not, but the prices are way too high. I don't know how people afford it. I really don't.
Thank you, Hugh. James, that was James. You know, James brings up an interesting point. You know, he's talking about baseball, and you know what I immediately thought about baseball? Parking.
Yeah.
You have to find parking, and that's expensive. Then you find it's tough, right? Because these are businesses, and at the end of the day, they're going to say, we are out to make money.
I will say this. The Madonna concert in Paris was way better than the Madonna concert in Houston.
Right.
So maybe that's something to consider. These artists like really show out, you know, in other countries. The show's a little different. We have a call right now from Chris from Cyprus. Chris, thanks for joining Hello Houston. We're talking about Ticketmaster. Do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, my wife and daughter were lucky enough to get tickets for the Taylor Swift concert. And, I mean, we literally could have paid off our mortgage if we sold those tickets. But it's a shame when, you know, people want the memories and the experience to just, you know, have that, you know, live, you know, experience and everything. But, yeah, it's way too much money. And the stunt that Justin Bieber pulled at Coachella, you know, getting paid $10 million and bringing your laptop out and doing karaoke.
I heard about that.
Yes.
That just kind of like sealed it. But great topic, guys. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
You know, Chris brings up an excellent point. You know, you saw what happened. I think everybody has seen, or if you haven't, Justin Bieber was one of the headliners. And am I understanding this right? He looked at YouTube for the first 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Was just scrolling on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Justin Bieber fan, but I do follow, like, you know, music news and all that good stuff.
Yes.
And he was getting a lot of folks that were criticizing him because of that. I will say that, you know, folks are used to paying this cost now. And when you go to the Beyonce concert, when you go to the Madonna concert, when you go to the Taylor Swift concert, it's packed.
Yeah.
It's full. People have somehow gotten used to now paying, I believe, these prices. So how are they going to now reel them back? You think about these companies, and they are for-profit companies.
Right.
I will say that Ticketmaster has responded and said that it does not have a monopoly on this industry. This is just a factor of them, and a fact of them just being really good at what they do. And because they're really good at what they do, that's why their company has grown to what it is, and that's why it's become so dominant in the industry. Not necessarily because of their practices.
Right. And again, 713-440-8870. We do have quite a few YouTube comments. Earl Grey T-Cat says, let's go back to buying tickets at the box office with no fees. You know, that's an interesting point because it makes me think about with technology, from what we understand, it's supposed to be streamlining things and making things, I would almost think maybe cutting out some overhead to make things maybe a little less expensive versus having somebody sitting at a box office and lines, but yet it feels like it's done the opposite. It's made things more expensive. Alex Jones says, I have gone overseas to see Sleep Token with pit tickets for not more than $80
That's
for
right.
a $10,000 person arena. No issues with presale through Ticketmaster internationally. Here we see it again. And then they also said Ticketmaster in the EU is way better, less bots than the US. They do not do enough to combat bots. Yeah, it's not. I don't know.
It is an issue because people do follow their favorite artists and they do want to go and experience that musical experience. Just recently, I tried to go get Ariana Grande tickets. Love Ariana Grande.
Yes.
I was in the line for like an hour, by the way, online in the presale line. Number like 90,000 or something. I mean, at that point, and I logged on like right then, right when you're supposed to log on. Got put in this room with 90,000 other people, bots. I don't know what it is. Ended up spending an hour of my time. Nothing. Can't get it. She's sold out. You know, the process is just. It needs some improvement, I believe. And I believe with the technology that we have today, I'm sure there's a way that they can come up with this. But
Absolutely. And let's see. We do have a call on the line. Again, our phone number is 713-440-8870. Let's go to Priscilla from Clear Lake. Priscilla, welcome to Hello Houston.
Hi. I just wanted to make a comment. Like, I do understand, which I don't agree with the fees that Ticketmaster adds on to the ticket. But in addition to that, I feel like them buying up all the tickets raises the ticket prices, and then normal people who stay in the queue forever to try to get a regular price ticket, it doesn't work out that way, and usually you have to end up buying from Ticketmaster. I mean, I can't even go to a Fever game because all the tickets are bought up in Dallas, and I didn't even get in soon enough to get like the regular price seat. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
I hope that changes.
yeah, we certainly hope so too. Thank you so much for Priscilla for calling us. We have another caller on the line, Sam from Clear Lake. Sam?
Hi, yeah. I just wanted to leave a similar comment. We just have these middlemen that are these secondhand resellers that are just taking up all of the money. And it would be different if these profits were passed on to the artists and the artists could put on a proportionate, strong performance. But they're not. It's just going to these corporations. In the court filing with Ticketmaster, the executives were laughing. Like, they were ridiculing and making fun of customers. It's just not acceptable. There needs to be a level of accountability.
And I agree. I think that there is that we need to see some accountability coming in, and we saw this verdict come down.
The verdict came down. Now we're just waiting on the judge to deliver the sentencing.
And we will obviously continue to watch this developing story, but we want to thank you for joining us on Hello Houston. Coming up on Hello Houston, we are going to hear another episode of Party Politics and University of Houston professor Brandon Rottinghouse's Techsperts, and it's going to be all about bluebonnets. Stay with us. This is News 88.7. We are almost at the finish line. This fundraiser ends tomorrow at 7 p.m., so jump in now and help make this a success. We need your donation to support the news stories you just heard and the stories you're going to hear throughout today. All possible when you go to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887. I'm Celeste Díaz Schurman.
And I'm Chloe Barcelona, and today is Trees Day.
Yay!
And when you start with $15 a month, you can select 6 trees to be planted in Houston. Maybe if you give a $500 gift, that's 17 whole trees. Each tree is $30. So basically, it's just, do you want to save the earth? How much? Come on, let's see. Make that gift now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Houston Public Media runs on something simple: the belief that you deserve to have the right to independent news and journalism. When we all work together, great things happen. This station is 100% community funded. You are the reason you're hearing stories about politics, state news, and education. You understand the need for Houston Public Media in your community. That is your reason to give. HoustonPublicMedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
And your leadership gift today strengthens Houston's trusted news group for tomorrow. With a gift of $1,500 or more, join our Studio Society, a group of supporters dedicated to safeguarding independent journalism and Houston-based programming each week. Make your gift at HoustonPublicMedia.org.
Listen, you hear a lot of noise out there. So do we. There is a lot of confusion about when are we voting? What is happening within my district? And Houston Public Media is different. We work to make sure that you understand what is happening. We focus on facts, on reporting, on getting it right. That's the mission, and it depends on your support. So give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
And your gift right now supports 2 nonprofits. You'll fund public media and help Trees for Houston plant trees across the city. That's stronger reporting and a greener city. Choose trees as your thank you gift at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
And again, your gift to Houston Public Media can support 2 nonprofits right now. We're partnering with Trees of Houston to plant trees in Greater Houston. Think about that. Trees is a beautification aspect to our community, and you can help that process. Your gift will support your access to information and also help grow a greener community for all of us. Just select trees as your thank you gift when you give at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or by calling 888-909-0887.
You know, truth matters.
It
Facts
does.
matter.
Mm-hmm.
And your gift today keeps accurate reporting on the air. Plus, helps Trees for Houston plant trees across Greater Houston. 2 missions, 1 donation. Select trees as your thank you gift at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
And thank you for making Houston Public Media part of your life. Thank you for relying on us to stay informed. And also, thank you for helping our community plant trees. I mean, that's what it's all about. Right now, when you give to Houston Public Media, you fight misinformation with every dollar. And today, you're going to also plant trees in neighborhoods that need them the most. Support transparent reporting and a cleaner city. Select trees as your thank you. Go to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887. And thank you for supporting 2 wonderful organizations.
Support comes.
We know you value Houston Public Media. That's why you're watching right now. So take the next step and become a new member of the station you rely on. Every gift makes a difference. And what matters most right now is supporting the station that brings you the news and information you rely on. It only takes a minute to make a big difference. So join as a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 800-364-8300.
Reminding you that April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and for more than 130 years, DePelchin has worked to ensure that Houston area children are part of safe and loving families. Learn more at depelchin.org.
Tonight on Houston Public Media TV8, a night of mystery and intrigue with Father Brown at 7, followed by the Sister Boniface Mysteries at 8 and Death in Paradise at 9. Tonight on Houston Public Media TV8.
Why give to Houston Public Media? Because you're listening to Hello Houston right now, a show that gives you more than just headlines. It provides context, community, and connection.
You hear from experts, local leaders, and everyday people. You get the complete picture, and that only happens with your support.
This journalism is powered 100% by listeners. That means you make it possible.
If this show matters to you, take the next step. Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
The Pope really sticks to his message about peace and unity and using dialogue. That message seems to have triggered the Trump administration, which really craves the approval of a Christian leader to justify their actions, and the fight has come to him.
I'm Natalie Kitroeff. That's Today on the Daily from the New York Times.
This evening at 7 on News 88.7.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now, Celeste Díaz Schurman and guest host Foti Kallergis.
Last month, with the start of the spring season, we aired an episode of Party Politics, co-host Brandon Rottinghouse's Techspert series, in which he explores Texas's official state flower, the bluebonnet, and the state laws surrounding them, particularly addressing whether it's illegal to pick them. And over the course of the month, the popularity of this installment has grown quite significantly. So we figured we'd give it another go in case anyone missed it the first time. So without further ado, here's Techsperts.
Welcome to Techsperts, Houston Public Media's short primers on Texas government. I'm Brandon Rottinghouse, a political science professor at the University of Houston. Well, it's bluebonnet season again. In fact, Texas's official state flower is the bluebonnet, first adopted in 1901. Texans have long celebrated wildflower season. In the 1920s, volunteers led by San Antonio civic leader Sally Ward Beretta collected bluebonnet seeds to replant fields and prevent overharvesting. Lady Bird Johnson famously promoted outside wildflowers in the 1960s, co-founding the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center in 1982 as a hub for native plant conservation. Even with all this love for bluebonnets, a persistent legend has held that it's illegal to pick bluebonnets. It's not. No Texas statute flatly bans picking bluebonnets in a pasture or a roadside field. In fact, though, state law once in the 1930s made it unlawful to pick bluebonnets and other wildflowers on enclosed or state-mandated land without permission. However, that old statute was repealed in 1973 when the Texas Penal Code was recodified. The Texas Department of Public Safety and other state agencies have repeatedly clarified this point. They emphasize that while picking a few blooms isn't against the law, people must obey other laws when they do so. For example, bluebonnets that grow on state park grounds or any national or state parks are protected. Removing or destroying any plant in a park is illegal. Likewise, picking bluebonnets on private property without permission can be prosecuted as criminal trespass. And along public highways and right-of-ways, damaging or uprooting flowers can violate Texas laws against harming government property. There's no statewide ban on plucking the state flower, but Texans should always stay off private property without permission, leave park plants in the ground, and follow traffic laws. Bluebonnets are political in Texas, too. Several Texas agencies are involved in protecting and promoting our wildflowers. The Texas Parks and Wildlife Department administers state parks and wildlife management areas where plants are strictly prohibited from being picked. TxDOT's Vegetation Management Division runs a statewide wildflower program. TxDOT staff not only sow over 30,000 pounds of native wildflower seeds across Texas each year, but also delay mowing and use safety strip mowing so blossoms can flourish along roadsides. The legislature has weighed in too. Beyond designating the state's flower, lawmakers have also declared every fourth Saturday in April as Texas Wildflower Day, reflecting the political importance of the bluebonnet's heritage. We talked to an expert about wildflowers and bluebonnets. Andrea DeLong-Amaya is an expert in wildflowers and bluebonnets at the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center. Andrea, welcome to Techsperts.
Hi, thanks.
Let's start with the myth. Every Texan seems to grow up hearing that it's illegal to pick bluebonnets. It's not, but how do you think that this legend got started?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure why it got started, but I think there's a lot of respect for bluebonnets, and I just have this, this idea of, someone's mother saying, "Don't pick the bluebonnets," because, just trying to keep everybody in line and not just go crazy, harvesting off the roadside as a way to just kind of keep it under control.
Yeah.
That's a guess.
So obviously, it's not technically illegal, but there are times where you could get in trouble picking wildflowers. What are those kinds of times?
Well, yes, that's definitely true. There's no special protection that bluebonnet, even though it's our state flower, they don't have special protection, but it is true that you could technically get in trouble for damaging public property or something like that. And really, my litmus for whenever you're interacting with wildflowers and bluebonnets in particular is basically be respectful. Just don't go in there and trash everything.
I like that as a rule. Yeah.
Mhm.
You mentioned that bluebonnet obviously have like a really strong connection to Texas. So how did bluebonnets become the official state flower in the first place?
Oh, well, I don't remember all the details about that, but I know that there was some good lobbying to have. Originally, it was the prickly pear. The idea was that it would be the yellow rose of Texas, which is the yellow flower and the prickly pears. But I'm not exactly sure why that didn't happen and why we ended up with bluebonnets. But we have several species of lupinus in Texas, and all of them are actually considered our Texas, or wildflower of Texas. But most people are familiar with the Texas bluebonnet because it's most widespread. So that's what we think of.
So then how did bluebonnets become a kind of cultural connection to Texas? Obviously, we've got families taking photos. We've got people taking road trips to see them. Why did it become such a powerful symbol of Texas?
One of the reasons I think that bluebonnets have become such an iconic legacy of Texas is that they only grow in Texas pretty much. There are other lupine species that grow in other parts of the United States for sure, but the Texas bluebonnet is Texas. We get them ourselves, all to ourselves. I also think that the way in which they grow, like a lot of times you'll see just acres of them, and that's pretty captivating that not a lot of other plants can do that and give you just such an outrageous show in the spring, the oceans of bluebonnets. Personally, I don't know if this affects other people as much, but I think blue is such an unusual color also, and I think that's intriguing to folks too. So I think there are lots of reasons. And then when Mrs. Johnson was in the White House and she really had her campaign to encourage wildflowers on the roadsides, that certainly had a lot of weight too.
Yeah, so I wanted to follow up on that. How big of a role did Lady Bird Johnson play in turning Texas wildflowers into something that Texans celebrate today?
I definitely think that was a big piece of it. She was very encouraging for TxDOT to sow wildflowers on the roadsides, and of course they do. And she supported competitions to see who had the best displays, and she would host barbecues at the Texas White House for the employees of TxDOT. And sort of related, her whole campaign against cluttering up the roadsides with the billboards. I think that was also part of just beautifying the roadsides. So that was kind of all part of that package.
Yeah. How can the state best continue to protect these beautiful symbols of Texas today?
Well, I think one of the things that's tricky, and I understand that there are different reasons why this happens, but we all cringe in the summer when the mowers go through, right? And sometimes they're mowing down things that are in full bloom, and that's unfortunate. So I know that it's probably more complicated than I probably understand, but if that could be reduced, the amount of mowing that happened on the roadsides at different times of the year when the flowers have not set seed fully, I think that would be really helpful. And then I think as individuals, just, appreciating what's out there to the extent possible, trying to minimize the spread of invasive species that can crowd out our native species. You're going to have more diversity and more interesting things to look at if they're not all just swamped with, bastard cabbage or, I don't know, Bermuda grass or something.
That's wonderful. Andrea, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Techsperts, and thanks to everybody, cast and crew here at Houston Public Media for making it happen.
That was Brandon Rottinghouse, a University of Houston political science professor and co-host of Houston Public Media's Party Politics. He spoke with Andrea DeLong Amaya, a horticulture educator at Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center. All episodes of Techsperts are available to listen to on our website. You can just go to houstonpublicmedia.org and search Techsperts. And coming up, it's Thursday, which can only mean one thing, our current obsessions. Stay with us as Hello Houston continues. Thank you for making Houston Public Media part of your life and tuning into us and choosing us as your trusted news source. And thank you for relying on us to stay informed and for making your monthly gift at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or calling 888-909-0887. I'm Celeste Díaz Schurman.
And I'm Chloe Barcelona. And you know what, Celeste?
What's that, Chloe?
I'm feeling crazy. Let's do a flash triple.
A flash
triple just for the rest of the hour until 1. Okay, everyone, you hear that? Flash triple.
I'm in.
Let's make it worth it.
That's right.
This is the final stretch of this fundraiser and it's exciting. We're getting closer and closer to our campaign goal, but we are not there yet. You can help. Everything you value about Houston Public Media needs your support. Take part in one of the most significant campaigns we have ever had. This fundraiser ends tomorrow. We know that sometimes you can't make your gift immediately, but we're getting down to the wire, so you need to do it now if you can, please, especially because it's tripled. Donate at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
And misinformation, it spreads fast, but vetted reporting, it takes work and it takes effort and intention. And Houston Public Media delivers facts that you can trust. And when you give today, not only is it going to be tripled for the next 20 minutes, but also you can support two wonderful organizations, Houston Public Media and Trees for Houston. They are going to plant trees right here in our community when you donate to Houston Public Media. So support your access to well-researched reporting and a greener city. Two amazing things. Make a $120 gift. 4 whole trees will be planted on your behalf. Choose trees when you give at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Okay, and if you've been waiting for the perfect time to give, this is it, a triple. Come on, guys. This is a special moment. Your donation is tripled for a limited time. There's 3 times the support for fact-based journalism, stories that connect us, and programs that inform you. Don't let this opportunity pass by. Triple your gift right now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Houston Public Media is here for you and also because of you. We're not here for ratings or clicks, but we're here for you to keep you informed and keep you connected to information that helps you make better decisions in your daily life. That mission only works when listeners support it. So take a minute and make your gift. houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
And now more than ever, we need leadership donors to help us meet this moment. Our membership group also includes members who give $5,000 to Houston Public Media. If you can give at the Affinity Council, please give to ensure Houston Public Media is here far into the future. If you gave $5,000 right now, you could select 170 trees to be planted on your behalf. And it's times 3. So 170 times 3. Once again, I'm going to let you do that math. Make your gift today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate, or you can call 888-909-0887.
And Chloe says that this matters more now than ever. And we mean that. Last year, some of our federal funding was pulled. And so we are having to make up that difference. And that's what we're doing right now. If you value facts, context, and reliable news, right now is your moment. Your donation is tripled. That means $200 becomes $600, and a monthly donation of $100 becomes $300 for an entire year. Triple your donation right now and protect your right to stay informed. But this match won't last long. Don't wait. Go to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or pick up that phone, 888-909-0887.
And Houston Public Media connects you to your community, to the stories, the issues, the conversations that shape your life here. That connection is our mission, and it only exists because listeners choose to support it. Be one of them right now. Triple your gift at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Do not wait to support the station that you count on. We are at work today bringing you the news from Greater Houston around the world to continue to be that dependable place, trusted news. So call 888-909-0887. And again, 888-909-0887.
Support comes from
It's not just your car. It's the one that brought your kids home from school, took you cross-country, held memories, laughter, even a few breakdowns. When it's time to let go, give your car a new purpose. Donate it and turn memories into meaningful support for this station. Plus, you'll enjoy free and easy pickup, potential tax benefits, and a simple donation process. Your gift supports the programs you and your family love. Donate today and help keep public media strong. Call or donate online.
Support comes from Theater Under the Stars, presenting Beautiful, the Carole King story. You've got a friend that will have you singing along with this all-new production. On stage at the Hobby Center May 19th through 31st. Tickets available at tuts.org. Support for Houston Public Media comes from Novotny and Company, offering commercial and residential property tax protests for 39 years. The deadline to file a protest is May 15th. Info and online filing at novotnycompany.com.
Houston Public Media, in partnership with Texas Southern University, brings to you The Vibe, R&B, hip-hop, and neo-soul, music that resonates with all ages. The Vibe on 88.7 HD3 and on the Houston Public Media app.
You're listening to Hello Houston right now, the show that brings you honest conversations about housing, healthcare, education, and the real issues shaping life in our city.
That's right. Hello Houston brings voices to the mic that need to be heard, but it doesn't happen on its own.
No, this station is entirely community funded, and that means you make Hello Houston possible.
Support the conversations that move Greater Houston forward. Make your gift at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
Right now, this station runs on commitment, and that commitment starts with you. This station shows up every day with reliable, unbiased news. Help us keep showing up for you right now. HoustonPublicMedia.org/donate.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now, Celeste Díaz Schurman and guest host Foti Kallergis.
And now it's time to jump into our current obsessions.
Love this segment.
This is a fun segment, and this is that rundown of things that are currently taking over all of our free time. A current obsession is a TV show. Foti mentioned his earlier. He was like, "I don't want to say it. We're going to talk about it." The TV show that you run home to continue, that song that keeps playing on repeat, the audiobook that makes you drive an extra block around your house. And before we jump into this week, one of the top trending items now on X is the trailer for the upcoming film Focker-in-Law, and which we were just talking about is Ariana Grande's in it.
Ariana Grande's in it, apparently. And we haven't had a chance to see it. It just dropped.
It just dropped. And before we get into our interest, as always, you are more than welcome to share your current obsessions with us by calling or texting us at 713-440-8870. We've already had a few come in, but Foti, what is your current obsession?
Okay, I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
How you doing?
Oh, wait. Yes.
How you doing?
I feel like yes.
Yes, reruns of Wendy Williams. That is my current
Williams.
obsession right now. Please don't judge me. Love Wendy Williams. There has never been someone on TV who has just given her or his unfiltered opinion like Wendy Williams. I miss her. I really miss her. And I think that's why we go to the reruns of Wendy Williams because there's so many great topics that have happened, some hot topics that have happened, and we haven't had Wendy to really break it down for us.
Breaking it down for us. I think that Wendy Williams, when we think about that era of television, we don't have the person who's kind of breaking it down from an entertainment standpoint. She kind of took the what was happening in the entertainment world and helped us understand really what was at play, what was at stake. I get it.
And she would always say, I'm not friends with these celebrities. I don't sit and have dinner with them, and I don't, schmooze with them on my off days whenever I'm not at the show. That's why I can get up and do what I do and give you that unfiltered opinion, but still know like you're getting the behind the scenes, also like the scoop. I just miss her. And I know that, I know there's others who have tried to come in, but it's just not the same.
I think you hit the nail on the head. There's not one person that we go to anymore kind of as a society for the scoop.
Yeah.
Now everybody has their own version of that person online.
Yeah.
And it's just not the same.
It's not the same. It's not. And I loved not just her on the show, but I loved I don't know if you've seen the show, but the shady cameraman who, when Wendy would say something, the cameraman would, point the camera to somebody in the audience and would shade the person in the audience. I love it. It was just the whole thing. And just a quick interesting note. I was on the Wendy Williams show. I was in the audience. Okay. And I got to see, how she does what she does. And it was just, her energy was just so infectious. Hate her or love her, she is definitely a legend.
There was nothing, there's no one like her.
Whenever I'm upset, I turn on Wendy Williams. When I just need to get away, I turn on Wendy. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Maybe I just have way too much time on my hands.
Help us out. No, but Resin 8 says, my current obsession is fabricating factual signs for when FIFA is in Houston. Your life as a driver is valued at peanuts in Houston. Charlie Brown about to kick a football graphic design of U of H. Very funny.
Interesting.
My British computer guy says current obsession is still Survivor.
Yeah,
Lots of
Survivor.
episodes to catch up on. Ernie, I believe, has watched every season and episode of Survivor.
Yeah, I haven't. I stopped at season 1.
Alex Garza Photo also says, my current obsession has been watching the Coachella stream on YouTube. Weekend 2 will be streaming as well this weekend, starting tomorrow.
Interesting. Well, what about yours?
Okay, so my current obsession is, sorry, I was about to read the other comment. I have been getting weirdly obsessed about doing like a digital declutter. Like I am going through my Instagram feed. I am unfriending people. I'm unfollowing people that I feel like are just either trying to sell me something. I'm going in my emails and unsubscribing to all of the junk mail that I get. We talked a little bit about this before this segment. Also, my Google photos. I take so many Google photos, and so it gets put up into the cloud.
Interesting.
So I'm going back and organizing them, and it sounds very easy. It is not easy at all. It is very difficult. It is amazing how much just digital clutter we live with.
Okay, so I'll ask you,
Yes.
have you had a chance to reflect, Celeste, on what is going on? Why are you holding on to this stuff? Any revelations that you've made about your digital kind of situation?
If I'm gonna get pretty vulnerable right now.
Here we go.
You're disarming me, Foti. I don't know if I like this, but I feel like oftentimes as a parent, I'm a millennial. I have young kids. I work, and so I'll be on Instagram, and so I will see a psychologist talking about parenting and how the kids need a regulated mother more than ever today. So then, it's 7 a.m. and I'm trying to get everybody out to school and the door, and I might be short with my kids. And then I will take a break, and all I'll see on my Instagram is how
That's right.
more than ever we need to be calm with our children.
Algorithm got you.
The algorithm gets me every time. And it basically tells me that I don't work out enough. I'm not a great parent. I need to be, balancing it all. And I was like, I'm tired of feeling guilty based on this unattainable expectation that Instagram is telling me to be.
Amen. Amen. But they have a new feature now. You can go in and you can change your algorithm.
I did not know that.
Yes, I'll show you after the show.
Okay.
Because it's life-changing.
Yeah.
And in fact, social media might just become boring to you at this point if you adjust it. But yeah, it's the algorithm that really teaches you. Interesting story about digital decluttering. My partner, Mark, is undergoing the same thing right now. And
Mark,
he wanted
I feel
to.
you.
Mark, poor man. He has tried, and he has his hard drive that has a lot of stuff on it, and he was trying to transfer it to another computer, another hard drive, so he can manage it and adjust it and sort it. And in the middle of the transfer, boom, power goes out.
No.
Corrupts the whole hard drive.
Oh my gosh.
Poor Mark has spent like 3 days, maybe more, trying to redo this hard drive.
No.
Finally got it to work yesterday. And now the work begins
it's restarting
the digital decluttering.
The digital declutter. And again, we want to hear from you. What is right now taking up all of your time? What is your current obsession? 713-440-8870. And this kind of ties into it. But I would say also just how AI is affecting the workforce.
Yeah.
It feels like entry-level jobs are no longer entry-level. It feels like we're in this weird space. I'm just seeing more and more articles about this new area we're in.
Yeah. I mean, my obsession is AI right now as well.
Yeah.
So I feel you. I totally understand that. And having to navigate that, trying to find employment and competing with people who you couldn't compete with the last time, before AI, because maybe they weren't great resume writers. Now everyone's a great resume writer and can do every job according to their resume with the help of AI writing it. So very interesting.
And so, and it's also, that's why I think I found the earlier segment about brain health so interesting because again, that's going to stick with me. What Dr. Reiser said is as much as we are investing in AI, we need to be investing in our brain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I hate to tell it to you, we've run out of time.
Aww.
That brings us to the end of our show. We want to thank you for watching and listening and calling in to Hello Houston today. Foti, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you today.
Likewise.
On Hello Houston.
Thank you, Celeste.
We'll be back tomorrow with more conversations. Ernie will also be back, and we're going to have an awesome list of last-minute plans for the weekend. This is News 88.7. Have a great rest of your day. Okay, we are starting off very strong this afternoon. When you make your donation, right now, it will be tripled. When you give to $10, it becomes $30. Your $100 becomes $300. Every donation is tripled, but you only have a few minutes left to get your donation tripled. Make your gift right now at houstonpublicmedia.org or call 888-909-0887. I'm Celeste Díaz Schurman.
And once again, I'm Chloe Barcelona. 4 minutes, people. 4 minutes to take advantage of this triple. By tomorrow evening, the whole effort will come together. We haven't made goal yet. We're hoping we'll make it. We will make it, but we just need your help. Donate now because by tomorrow, that's it. Tomorrow at 7, that's when we need to wrap this campaign up. And we'll know how much we raised, and we'll know where this independent Greater Houston newsstand for the coming months, where it stands for the coming months. Donate monthly at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Okay, you heard it, Houston. Chloe just said we haven't hit our goal yet, so let's come through. We want to hit our goal, and we can't do it without you. Houston Public Media is 100% community funded. I'm going to say that one more time. Houston Public Media is 100% community funded. You are the one who keeps this whole thing going. And I want you to know that we are committed to you. We promise to keep showing up for you with trusted news that you can rely on every single day. Clear, accurate weather updates, interesting conversations, stories that keep you connected to your community. And now is the time to stand with us at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Think about the stories that stay with you, the ones that take root, like trees. When you give to Houston Public Media today, you can help another kind of story grow. Select trees as your thank you gift, and Trees for Houston will plant trees across our community. Your support nurtures knowledge, connection, and new life right here at home. Give today at houstonpublicmedia.org or call 888-909-0887.
You can give back to the community and help pay for someone else who's listening when they can't give. And you also your match is going to be tripled. I mean, it's a great time to give. So go to houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Thanks for listening to Hello Houston. Join us every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. to talk all things Houston. The Hello Houston production team includes Garrett Bowman, William Menjivar, Jen Altine, Todd Holslander, and Jim Kovacic. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at houstonpublicmedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
Dr. Deborah Birx remembers watching the State of the Union when President George W. Bush announced the president's emergency plan for AIDS relief.
Americans are not